Well, that is a wrap here at Sidebar. I am Heather Clancy, and this is not Sarah Golden, you will have discovered, but it is Jim Giles who put together the carbon program. Thank you so much for being here with me to close out the ceremony. I mean, what an amazing way to end this wonderful conversation that we've been having all week. And this actually speaks to you. You're all about the decarbonization. You hear about many of the issues that panel was addressing. Just wondering if you have any just sort of thoughts just generally about the panel.
Just extraordinary, and as I'm watching it, I'm thinking about the youth activism that I remember. So I am in my mid-40s, and I was thinking back and just thinking how different it was in multiple levels, like partly just the scale, the number of young people that are coming out, the depth of their knowledge I find absolutely incredible. And I think also the appreciation that there are multiple dimensions to environmental issues, the fact that issues of color and the way that communities of color have been adversely affected by environmental issues, like more profoundly than other communities, integrated into those arguments. These are things I just don't remember from my youth.
So the conversation, how was that part of the conversations during the sessions here this week? I mean, did that come up a lot, or?
It came up a lot, yeah, particularly we had some great sessions on offsets and on particularly on like how we can use forests to draw down carbon from the atmosphere. And in almost I think every time this came up, people were saying, well, yes, that's great, but how do these projects affect the lives of the communities around them?
So actually, the offsets is a huge topic here. So I think you have this theory that it's poised for major growth. Why do you think that?
I am really excited about the offsets market right now for a bunch of reasons. So there has been a voluntary offset market now for, I don't know long, at least a decade, maybe 2 decades. So companies that wanted to could go and invest in to offset their emissions by planting forests or doing other emissions reduction projects. Some interesting things are about to happen. One is the airline industry, which had a minimal involvement in this market, has just made a big commitment to cap their emissions. So they're saying that their emissions, roughly where they are now, are going to stay at that level. Now, the airline industry is poised for big growth, particularly in developing nations. So their actual emissions are going to increase, and what they said is they're going to they're going to introduce some efficiency measures to limit that increase, which is great, but there is no real alternative to jet fuel right now, so they're going to keep the industry-wide emissions at this baseline level by investing in offsets.
Okay.
Now, the impact that is going to have on the offset market is still something I'm trying and other people are trying to figure out, but it's going to be very, very significant. And there's a lot of new money coming into the market. Sorry.
I have two more things I want to ask you about, really specific.
Yeah.
What the hell is carbon negative oil? I've been hearing about it, so tell me.
This is a strange thing that we're all trying to wrap our heads around, and it works like this. Occidental Petroleum, will be building what's called a direct air capture plant, which is a big machine, a giant fan that sucks carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. The carbon dioxide, once they've got it from the atmosphere, they are going to pump it into an oil reservoir that is somewhat depleted, and they will use the pressure of that carbon dioxide to push out more oil. Now, that oil is going to come out, and it's going to get burnt, and it's going to release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. But for every barrel of oil you pull out, you're also putting some carbon dioxide back in from the atmosphere.
Okay.
What Oxy are claiming is that there is a possibility, not definite, there is a possibility that there will be more carbon dioxide going in than there will be coming out, and therefore each barrel of oil will be carbon negative.
Well, we'll have to watch that one and follow it with sincerity and closeness.
Yes.
So, is regenerative agriculture the new organic?
I actually hope it can be much more than the new organic. So for people that don't know, regenerative agriculture is this idea that we can change the way that we farm so that our soils pull down and lock carbon into them. Organic, I think, is a success story and not a success story. The industry has seen double-digit growth in recent years. It's still less than a single % of US acreage. So basically, it's almost a rounding error if you look at like the land mass in terms of how it's farmed. If we're going to see the potential of regenerative to draw down big amounts of carbon, and we're talking, it has the potential to draw down gigatons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, It needs to be more than a single
Okay.
percentage of US equity. And it can be with the right incentives. That's what we think.
Okay, from your lips to you know where. Thank you so much for the great work on the program here this week. I'm really looking forward to actually one of the sessions I'm going to this afternoon, so I'm going to be lurking in one of your sessions. Thank you.